Now we turn to President Obama's summer reading list. Like most Americans, the president likes to relax with a good book when he's on vacation. This summer, 4 of the 5 books on his list are novels, and that's a little unusual by presidential standards. Joining us now is Patrick Gavin, a Washington reporter for Politico.com. Patrick, good to see you here this morning. How are you?
Good morning.
All right, let's talk about the president's reading list, though. He's facing some low approval ratings right now, and he's going through quite a bit. There's quite a bit going on as far as tough times are concerned, but he's bought a lot of fiction. So how do we make this correlation? What does this say about this president that he's buying so much fiction?
You know, I don't know. I think that every year when this happens and the president announces their summer reading list, it gives, bibliophiles a chance to sort of give his reading taste a thumbs up or a thumbs down. It gives political nerds a chance to sort of glean some meaning into it. You know, I personally think that if I were the president and every day I had to read tax proposals or sort of scary daily briefings from the National Security Council, I would probably want to break and go with some fiction as well. But you're right, it is sort of unique. A lot of presidents will usually have at least a couple of sort of weighty political biographies or political histories, and President Obama is definitely leaning heavily on the fiction.
So this is almost kind of like his version of going to see a movie, a little bit of a departure from all the serious tones in his life on a daily basis. If you add up all these books on President Obama's list, it adds up to approximately 6,500 pages. It doesn't leave a whole lot of time for relax. I mean, he is on vacation. He does have 2 young daughters. So where's he fitting all this in?
Yeah, and I'll do the math for you. That's about 700 pages a day. And you're right, he's got meetings. He says that he's got Libya that he now has to deal with. He's got cocktail parties, date nights. He's got time to go play golf. The reality is that there's obviously no rule that he has to finish all these. To a certain extent, it is sort of just a tradition to sort of let the American people know what's on his mind, what's on his bookshelf. I think the reality is that if he can actually get through 1 or even 2, he'll consider himself lucky. But President Clinton, I believe, brought 12 in 1999. There's no way he got through all those. Obviously, they can skim these things, but I think to reach 6,500 pages in 9 days would be a Herculean task.
Yeah, no, it just doesn't add up. Let's talk about President Clinton's summer reading list back in 1999. We have a graphic, a dozen books on his list. Now, does it really represent more of a wish list than I'm actually going to read all of this while I'm away from the Oval Office?
Oh, absolutely. And I think that, depending on the presidency, depending on the time in his presidency, sometimes presidents do like to sort of recommend some books to get you kind of thinking about what it means. President Clinton one time brought in his list a book about the, quote, radical right. Obviously, he wanted to get a little zing in there. He also got a book about the history of risk, and one reporter asked him why. He said, look, I'm the President of the United States. My job is to sort of understand risk. President Bush also got some sort of books that were kind of timely. He looked into the great influenza, looked into polio. These were after 9/11 when he was concerned about sort of how these sort of contagions could spread. So sometimes they are very meaningful. Other times they're simply for pleasure.
And also a big fan of Lincoln back in 2006 when we show President Bush's summer reading list right there. Patrick, thanks so much. Good to talk with you this morning.
Thank you, guys.
All right.